so much. I love you just because you make me so happy.
There's no 911 call, no dispatcher, no sirens racing through the night. At 1:40 in the morning on April 16, 2021, a woman runs through the streets of South Deering, Chicago, skin peeling, clothes burned off her body. And she doesn't stop at a house or flag down a car. She runs straight to Engine 81 Firehouse. When the firefighters open the door, they find Lavinia Gardner standing there, 70% of her body covered in second and third-degree burns. Plastic from her hair extensions melted into her scalp. Skin fused over her fingernails. She tells them who did this. Her husband. They'd been married 90 days. Before she collapses, she asks them one question: am I going to live? Welcome to Domestic Crime Ledger, where we don't do boring, we do the truth. Hit that subscribe button, I smash the like, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. You're going to want to stay for this one. Lavinia Gardner was 35 years old, living in South Deering on Chicago's far south side. Friends called her Viv. She posted about her life constantly, her thoughts, her relationships, her dreams of being a wife. She wasn't shy about what she wanted: stability, love, someone who saw her worth. In the spring of 2020, she met Henry Taylor. He was 31, lived nearby. They started hanging out casually, nothing serious at first, but over time it turned into something more. They caught feelings, started spending real time together. Henry had a past. He'd been to prison for theft and stolen vehicles. Nothing violent on record, but he'd done time. And he didn't hide who he was. He called himself a hothead. He said he had anger issues, blamed it on being short, called it short man syndrome. He admitted openly that he struggled to control his temper. The relationship was never stable. They broke up, got back together, broke up again. The fights were serious, draining, the kind that left both of them exhausted. But they kept coming back. Then in January 2021, they made it official. They flew to Las Vegas and got married in a private ceremony. Just family and close friends. Lavinia poured her heart into her vows, talked about worth, loyalty.
You came into my life at a time where I couldn't even possibly imagine my worth. I promise to give you my eternal loyalty and heart, for you are the only man I would ever need.
Henry's vows were shorter, lighter. He said she made him happy. After the wedding, Lavinia changed her name to Viv Taylor. She posted about her marriage constantly. Flowers on random Wednesdays, vacations to Miami, upgraded wedding rings. Everything looked perfect online. But by April, she was in a burn unit fighting for her life. This isn't a story about a man who snapped out of nowhere. It's about a countdown that started the moment they said, "I do." A countdown everyone could see, but no one knew how to stop. So the questions are simple. Why did she marry him? What changed after the wedding? And what really happened on April 16th? The wedding footage tells you everything you need to know. Lavinia stands in front of family and friends, holding Henry's hands, and she reads her vows like she's been waiting her whole life to say them. She talks about how he came into her life when she couldn't see her own worth, how he helped her grow, how she'll never give up on him. She promises loyalty, her whole heart. She says he's her strength, her joy, her everything. And she tells him when the world feels like it's crumbling, he should look at her, because she's his rock. Her voice cracks. She's vulnerable. She means every word. Then it's Henry's turn. He says he loves her because she makes him happy, that she's beautiful, that he cherishes her. That's it. Maybe 30 seconds. Surface level. No depth, no promises that match hers. The imbalance is right there on camera. After the wedding, Lavinia changed her name to Viv Taylor. She posted about her marriage like it was everything she'd ever wanted. On March 19th, she shared how Henry surprised her with flowers and edible arrangements on a random Wednesday. Sweet gestures, romantic moments. They traveled a lot. Miami, road trips, getaways. She documented every trip, every smile, every moment that looked like happiness. In early April, she posted about finding someone permanent so you don't have to keep starting over, about soulmates who accept your flaws and mood swings. She wrote, "I always knew I was ready to be a wife. I have the heart, strength, patience for it." She even posted that Henry had upgraded their wedding rings. Everything looked perfect. But people close to her started noticing something else. Her smile wasn't the same. The brightness in her eyes had dimmed. She seemed like she was managing him, watching his moods, redirecting conversations, keeping things calm. Friends saw it but didn't know what to say, didn't know how to ask. And then, 9 days after the wedding, Henry went live on Facebook, with Lavinia sitting right next to him, and he told the internet exactly who he was. Not in some hidden confession, not in private. He said it out loud, on camera, where anyone could see. And 2 months later, those words would become evidence. February 9th, 2021. Henry and Lavinia go live on Facebook together. It starts out playful, joking around, eating crab legs and shrimp, talking to viewers. Just a couple hanging out online. But it doesn't stay that way. Henry starts getting worked up. Someone in the comments mentions Lavinia's friends going to college. He gets defensive, starts snapping. The tone shifts fast. Lavinia tries to lighten the mood. She laughs nervously, redirects the conversation, asks him to open her soda for her, little things to pull his attention away from whatever's setting him off. But Henry keeps going. At one point, he looks directly at the camera and says, "You gotta talk to me nice because I'm about to fuck up. I really got anger issues because I'm short as f. I really have the short man syndrome, and I be ready to explode." He's not joking. He talks about a time someone hit their car, says he had to get out because he knew what he was about to do, says Lavinia had to calm him down before he hurt the guy. Then he says this, "I have nothing to live for. I will go back to prison, and I ain't going for a fight. I'm trying to break your motherfucking neck." Lavinia sits next to him the whole time, watching, managing, trying to keep things from getting worse. He keeps talking, says when he gets angry, he's not trying to fight. He's trying to hurt people, seriously hurt them. He mentions setting someone on fire, says he'd stay at the scene of the crime. No remorse, no fear. This isn't a private conversation. This is a live stream. People are watching in real time, commenting, reacting. And Lavinia is right there, performing damage control like it's a skill she's had to learn. She asks him questions, tries to shift topics, laughs when it gets too tense. She's managing his rage on camera in front of strangers because that's what she's learned to do. Henry talks about having nothing to lose, about going back to prison, about breaking necks and setting people on fire. And nobody calls anyone. Nobody reports it. Nobody intervenes. The live stream stays up. People watch, maybe share it, maybe forget about it. But 2 months later, when Lavinia runs into that firehouse with 70% of her body burned, investigators pull that video. And Henry's own words become evidence, because he didn't just threaten violence, he described exactly what he was going to do. Yeah, April 16th, 2021 isn't a random date. It's the birthday of Lavinia's best friend, Sean Stevens Jr. All day long, Lavinia posts about him, countdowns, tributes, celebration plans. She's excited. She's honoring someone who matters to her. Sean wasn't just any friend. He was her best friend. Close enough that after Lavinia died, people kept confusing him for her husband. Sean is tall. He gets attention. He's someone Lavinia clearly cares about. And Henry had already shown how he felt about that. Back on that February live stream, Henry made it clear he didn't like Lavinia's male friends. He got jealous, got bitter when people around her had accomplishments or got attention he didn't. He made constant remarks about being a short king, like his height was something he had to prove himself over. And so when Lavinia spent April 16th posting about another man, counting down the hours, planning to celebrate with him, it's not hard to imagine what that did to Henry. That night, Newlywed and Henry got into an argument. The details of what they fought about aren't clear. No one recorded it. No one was there. But the timing tells a story all on its own. After a while, things seemed to calm down. The fight appeared to be over. Newlywed went to sleep, probably thinking the worst had passed. Henry didn't go to sleep. He got up, walked to wherever he kept the lighter fluid, grabbed a lighter, and he went into the bedroom where Newlywed was lying down, defenseless, trusting that the argument was done. What he did next, he'd already told the internet he was capable of. He'd said it out loud, on camera, in front of Newlywed, or in front of viewers. And now, in the middle of the night, with no witnesses, he made good on his word. Do you think the argument was about Sean, or was this always going to happen no matter what? A or B? Comment your answer and tell me why. Henry walks into the bedroom with a bottle of lighter fluid and a lighter in his hands. Newlywed is asleep. He stands over her and douses her body with the fluid. Then he flicks the lighter. She wakes up engulfed in flames. The pain is immediate, unimaginable. Her skin is burning. Her clothes are burning. She's on fire. Newlywed doesn't freeze. She moves. She rips off her burning clothes and runs to the shower, trying to put out the flames with water. But the damage is already done. Her skin begins to melt over her fingernails. The plastic from her hair extensions fuses into her scalp. Second and third-degree burns cover more than 70% of her body. And she knows she can't stay there. At 1:40 in the morning, Newlywed runs out of the apartment and into the streets of South Deering. Every step is agony. Her body is destroyed, but she keeps moving. She doesn't knock on a neighbor's door. She doesn't stop a car. She runs 2 blocks north to Engine 81 Firehouse on South Hoxie Avenue. When the firefighters open the door, they see a woman barely holding on. Newlywed tells them everything. She tells them a man poured lighter fluid on her and set her on fire. She gives them his name, Henry Taylor. She tells them he's her husband. And then, according to Assistant State's Attorney James Murphy, she says this: "I knew my husband would try to kill me. I should have left him a long time ago." She knew. She'd known for a while. And in that moment, burned beyond recognition, standing in a firehouse doorway, fighting to stay conscious, she admitted it out loud. Then she asks the firefighters one question: "Am I going to live?" Paramedics rush her to Trinity Hospital. Her injuries are too severe. They transfer her to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where specialists try to save her life. Newlywed fights for 35 days. Henry fought for nothing. While she's in the hospital, skin grafts failing, her body shutting down, Henry doesn't turn himself in. He doesn't sit by her bedside. He doesn't apologize. He picks up the phone and makes a series of calls that prove he knew exactly what he'd done. He calls Newlywed's mother, then her brother, then her sister, then her grandmother, and to each of them he says the same thing: "I killed your daughter by fire." 6 words. No explanation. No remorse. Just a cold statement of fact. Then he hangs up and disappears. Police arrive at the apartment on the 10,600 block of South Hoxie Avenue. They search the scene and find exactly what Newlywed told the firefighters they would find. A bottle of lighter fluid, nearly empty. A lighter. Everything she said happened. Confirmed. But Henry is gone. While investigators put out a warrant for his arrest, Newlywed is lying in the intensive care unit at the University of Chicago Medical Center. 70% of her body is burned. Doctors perform skin graft surgery. They do everything they can. And her family sits by her bed. Her mother, her brother, her sister, the same people Henry called to confess. They'd just celebrated her wedding a few months earlier. They'd watched her exchange vows in Las Vegas. They'd seen her post about flowers and trips and upgraded rings. They thought she was happy. Now they're watching her fight for her life, knowing the man who did this to her called them to brag about it. Newlywed holds on. For over a month, She fights. Her body tries to heal. Her family prays. But the damage is too severe. On May 21, 2021, Louvenia's body gives out. She dies at the University of Chicago Medical Center 35 days after Henry set her on fire. 5 days later, on May 26th, Henry Taylor walks into the Rogers Park District Police Station, and he turns himself in. May 22nd, 2021. One day after Louvenia dies, her family gathers to honor her. They release purple balloons into the sky, purple for peace, purple for courage, purple for love. The same qualities people saw in Louvenia when she was alive. Her family creates a GoFundMe with the title, "Help Us Lay Our Mermaid to Rest." It raises $6,765, enough to give her the funeral she deserved. Her best friend, Sean Stevens Jr., the man whose birthday may have triggered the argument that night, posts a tribute. He writes, "Had I known the last time we talked would be the last time, I would have never hung up the phone. Viv Taylor, I miss you, best friend." He still celebrates her birthday every year, keeps her memory alive in the space where she used to share her life so openly. Meanwhile, Henry Taylor sits in Cook County Jail waiting for trial. His court date on June 15th comes and goes. The case moves forward. Prosecutors build their evidence, and they don't have to work hard because Louvenia gave them everything they needed. The firefighters documented what she said the moment she arrived at Engine 81. She named Henry. She told them what he did. She said she knew he would try to kill her. Investigators found the lighter fluid bottle and the lighter at the apartment, exactly where she said they'd be. Henry's own phone calls to her family, confessing hours after the attack, were documented. And then there's the February 9th Facebook live stream. Henry's own voice, his own words, threatening to break necks and set people on fire. All of it recorded, all of it public. Louvenia's voice becomes the prosecution's strongest weapon. She didn't just survive long enough to name him, she survived long enough to make sure he couldn't lie. Louvenia Gardner knew. She told the firefighters she knew. She said it out loud, standing in that firehouse doorway with 70% of her body burned. "I knew my husband would try to kill me. I should have left him a long time ago." She knew. And she stayed anyway. Not because she was weak, not because she didn't see the danger, but because leaving an abuser is the most dangerous thing a victim can do. And sometimes staying is fatal. The warning signs weren't hidden. They weren't subtle. They were broadcast live on the internet. Henry told thousands of people he had anger issues, that he'd go back to prison, that he wasn't trying to fight. He was trying to break necks. He said it with Louvenia sitting right next to him, laughing nervously, trying to keep him calm. 2 months later, he proved he meant every word. This isn't a story about a man who snapped. It's about a man who announced his intentions and a system that didn't intervene. It's about a woman who loved hard, hoped harder, and paid for it with her life. Henry Taylor was charged with first-degree murder. Judge Susana Ortiz called his actions brutal and heinous and ordered him held without bail. He awaits trial in Cook County Jail. Louvenia Gardner is gone. Her last words were both a warning and a confession. She knew what Henry was capable of. She knew she should have left. But knowing and leaving are two different things. The real question isn't what happened in that bedroom on April 16th. It's what didn't happen in the weeks before. When Henry went live and threatened violence on camera, why didn't anyone intervene? When friends noticed Louvenia's smile fading, her spirit dimming, why didn't anyone know how to help? When the cycle of breakups and reconciliations screamed danger, why didn't the system step in? Louvenia ran 2 blocks through the streets of South Deering, her body on fire, every step agony, to make sure her story was told. She named her attacker. She gave investigators everything they needed. She made sure Henry couldn't lie his way out. The least we can do is listen. She asked the firefighters if she was going to live. She already knew the answer. The question is, did we? And to everyone watching, if you see the signs, say something. If someone you love is dimming under someone else's control, reach out. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't assume someone else will step in. Sometimes listening saves a life. Sometimes one conversation changes everything. If this story mattered to you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Share this video. Let Lavinia's story reach someone who needs to hear it. Stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next one.